Hi everyone, and thanks for being with me. I'm going to have a rather odd conversation today because it's it's something that's been concerning me, something I've been thinking about for quite some time. And what I want my channel to be is a way by which I can just simply express myself. For most of my life, I haven't had that particular opportunity in a forum like this. I have given a number of speeches in terms of the type of work that I've done. I've focused on who I was as a social worker for a lot of that time, and but now I want to use this opportunity to talk about aspects of my life, the things that I've either learned or things that I need to unlearn as a result of the things that I've learned. And I wish to be able to convey that to people, not necessarily because I need to build up subscriptions, be nice, but I've decided that I'm not going to even focus on that. However, I'm still going to ask you to subscribe. So if you like my channel and you'd like to hear more of what I say, please subscribe anyway. But that isn't the deal. The deal isn't about subscriptions. It isn't even about viewership. It's simply about me choosing to do something that I want to do because it's new and it's different, and I'm no longer working with clients. So I mentioned in a previous video at some point that I've worked very hard to try and not confront this notion around the R word, retirement, that I've wanted to try and avoid that because I've had this fear that if I retire, as happens to many of us guys, once we retire, that's it. Our life seems to be over. We've invested so much in who we are in terms of the work we've been doing, regardless of the type of work, that when we stop doing that, we lose this sense of self and in some cases, even the will to want to live. Now, I certainly haven't got to that point, thank God, but I am mindful, very, very mindful of the fact that I have got to a point in my life where I've had to give up the work I was doing because it was emotionally and psychologically draining. And that to leave it behind was something at that particular point in my life, after 35 years, I needed to do. And I was disappointed because I'd built so many good relationships. I believe I've helped lots of people along that journey, and that the work I've been doing, I like doing. I like being a social worker. I like the values that we have as social workers, and that stuff has not left me. I still celebrate all those values, the principles and the ideas that I've accumulated as a social worker are still with me today. So in a sense, being a social worker is not something I've necessarily left behind. I have left behind, though, the type of work that I was doing. So what fills that void? What can I do that is not about feeling useless, hopeless, helpless? What has got value in my life? And apart from my family, I mean, one of my biggest regrets is that I've got 5 grandchildren and none of them live in our state. So I've got 5 kids, 4 of them live elsewhere, one of them lives here. But so a lot of families have got their family around them when they retire. They've got the grandkids to look after, and they've got, seeing the other kids and being a part of their lives. My wife and I don't have that. So what fills the gap then? What did I need to do? So I hope this isn't boring you. If you've still watched it this far, congratulations. But I decided that it was better if I could find something to do that was about telling my story and telling the stories of others. So I've embarked on a bit of a project where I've been interviewing a number of people and hearing their stories and videoing them and finding the space to be able to play those back, have them on my YouTube channel. There will be a separate YouTube channel eventually where I guess I'll be putting all of those particular interviews. Because it's important for people to be able to tell their stories. For years, I've heard those stories. I've listened to people tell their stories. I haven't been able to document it. You know, it's a therapy session, for Christ's sake. It's confidential, so there's no way in the world we can talk about that. But there are lots of people out there, you perhaps, who's got a story that you'd think could be told, that you'd like to tell. If so, I'd like to record that. There's also another aspect of the work that I'm doing now, which is about learning about the equipment. So I won't go off, and I did it overkill, I must confess. I bought a camera that was far more expensive than actually what I needed to do these sorts of videos, but a very good camera, certainly for interviewing and for doing documentaries. And I've added to that camera. I've got lots of additional stuff to it. I've got my lights, I've got my screens, I've got my green screen, I've got expensive software to produce this, software to do the editing with. So I've got it all. The problem that I've got is that learning curve, in order to find a way to better understand all of this software and everything I've got, is pretty damn steep. And it's something I wished I'd perhaps invested in, 30 years ago. It might have taken me in a different direction in my life, or it might have been a part of my social work experience, who knows. But nevertheless, it's a challenge to learn all that stuff at my age, and to even have a YouTube channel, to even have this conversation with you. YouTube, if you look at the number of people that attend YouTube conferences, they're all young. Certainly aren't 72-year-olds like me trying to find out how to be an influencer, whatever that means. But this is a challenge, having this conversation with you, talking to you about what's really important to me is different. It's something I don't normally do, apart from conversations with my wife and my kids. That's usually as far as it goes. But I've chosen to do this differently now, because having these types of conversations, to be with you and to talk to you using all the technology and everything that I've got, is important to me. It is. Not the numbers. I don't give a shit about how many people watch my videos or whatever. I don't care if only one person watches them. It doesn't matter to me. What does matter to me is that I've been able to produce whatever I've been able to produce. I've been able to refine it in whichever way I can refine it. I want to make better videos. I've got some fancy software that can zoom in and out and put headings and 1/3 and do the whole bit. I don't necessarily want to do that in these videos. That's the sort of stuff I want to keep for when I'm doing documentaries or interviews or whatever. Still a lot to be learned around all of that. But what I want to say to you is this: if you're an older person and you're going through this journey, have a conversation with me about what it is that you're experiencing and what's it like, because I'd really like to have that conversation. If you're a young person and you're deciding that perhaps you'd like to take a different direction in your life, come and have a conversation with me about that in the comments below or whatever. Just make contact with me and have a conversation about where you're going and why you're going there. Because I've decided that this is a different direction. In a sense, it's doing the same thing. It's still listening to people, still hearing people's stories, something I've done for decades. But it is, more importantly, about me developing a new path, a different way of being. When you reach a certain age, you have a choice. You can either disappear into oblivion once you stop doing what you've been doing for most of your life, or you can take a different direction. So you don't retire, you just redirect your energy. And as long as I'm fit and healthy, I'll take that back. As long as I'm healthy, I'm not all that fit. And as long as I've still got the mental capacity, then I want to be able to do things that are of interest to me, that hopefully also may help you along the way. Who knows? I have 35 years of experience working around anything from domestic violence to relationships to anger management to dealing with conflict to workplace bullying to separation and divorce. The list goes on. I once worked out that I'd written 25 programs over the last 35 years in relation to a range of topics. I've got lots I can talk about. But I wanted this video to be a personal one about me, my relationship to whatever it is that I'm doing now, and maybe at the end of the day, my relationship with you as well. So let me know what you think in the comments below. If I can help you on a similar journey, I'll be more than happy to do so. Take care, everybody. Look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.